travel to Philly on Sunday. Both teams are 7-7, and both are also coming off wins this past weekend. So, Shannon, are you surprised by this point spread?
No, I'm not. Eagles have been decimated by injuries. They're hanging on by a thread. Their two leading receivers yesterday were on the practice squad at the start of the season. Greg Ward, who skipped Bayless, he loved to talk about Jacoby Myers, who was a quarterback in college, who transitioned to wide receiver. He was their leading receiver yesterday. He caught the game-winning touchdown. He was the leading receiver. He played big. The guy had already been cut and released twice this year. Just this year alone. Also, Boston Scott had another 7 catches who played big for him yesterday. So, no, I am not surprised. What I am surprised by is how pathetic the Eagles defense is. This is ridiculous. I mean, Skip, you saw Haskins look like he should have been Rookie of the Year the way he was going up and down the field against that defense. Carson Wentz is doing and I'm looking at him like, bruh, you need game-winning drives to come back against the Giants on a Monday night. You need a game-winning drive to come back against Washington. That's what you need? And I'm like, wow. So, no, I am not surprised. The injuries are starting to take their toll offensively, but that has no excuse with the defense. The defense is terrible. The secondary is terrible. Nobody has lived up. Skip, we keep talking about, you're looking for Aaron Donald. Fletcher Cox had not lived up. Graham and Barnett, none of those guys, Curry, none of those guys, Malcolm Jenkins, none of those guys on that side of the football have lived up to the hype and the expectations that I'm sure that they set for themselves, and that me as I set for them, knowing what they are. So I'm not surprised that the Cowboys are a 3-point favorite. I'm going to be shocked if it doesn't move the other way, if it doesn't even go even higher.
Really?
Yes.
So I was surprised and I was a little disappointed because I always tell you my team needs external motivation because my coach cannot provide it from within. Coach Clapp, Coach Butt Slap. That's what he is, and he does that great, but that's about all. So I was hoping that the Eagles would open as at least a 3-point home favorite, and it did not happen. So I don't have that to fuel the fire going to Philadelphia. But I've told you all year, I believe my team is just better than the Eagles. It has been in bursts all year. I respect the Eagles. I think they do have potential firepower in Carson Wentz and the receivers he does have and the backs that he has right now. They can score, and they can shut you down on occasion. But in the end, I believe my team will win this game. And yet, in the end, you talk about Greg Ward Jr. Do I fear him? Yeah, I do. I liked him in college. He was really good. I don't know if you ever saw him at
he was great. Yeah, he was very good at quarterback.
Really good. Yeah. In fact, he came out of the state of Texas. You realize he was the Texas State High School Player of the Year? That's a big state with great high school football.
That's saying something.
And he was a running and throwing quarterback, high football IQ. And I really enjoyed watching him at University of Houston. And in their championship game when he was a junior in that American Athletic Conference championship game, he was the MVP of that game. And then he went to the Peach Bowl, and against Florida State, he was the offensive player of the game. The point is he's got skills.
Right.
And I think Carson Wentz is starting to vibe with him and connect with him because he has a quarterback's mind in a receiver's body.
But Skip, it says something. Anytime you talk about a guy that the likelihood of Greg Ward ever playing receiver in his life, and this is why you have to give guys like Julian Edelman a whole lot of credit. Skip, you play a position your entire life, and then all of a sudden you get to the highest level, and they say, we want you to make a switch. And not only do you make the switch, and you start to thrive and succeed at that.
Greg Ward did play some receiver at Houston, so he was kind of going back and forth. But to your point, he's about Julian's size.
Yes.
They're about the same size, and they're quicker than they're fast. And he's been on and off the Eagles practice squad, and he finally got his chance, and he's shining.
Yes.
And so is Boston Scott. I've liked him. He reminds me of little Edwards-Helaire for LSU, and they're both from Baton Rouge. So they've got 2 new pops that they can go to. And yet, in the end, I look at what they just did, and we talk about the Giants game. It was embarrassing because the Giants were ahead 17-3 at halftime. And it took the Eagles just scratching and clawing, get back into the game to go to overtime.
And the Giants just hung 40 on a team that beat the Eagles 2 weeks ago.
Okay. So, again, did I like Carson Wentz in the last drive against the Giants and over? Yes, I did. Did I like him in the last drive yesterday against Washington? I thought he was really good. And he threw a couple of balls that were just like take your breath away balls. He is capable of doing that, but their team hasn't taken off because yesterday I'm looking at these scores. Washington was up 14-10 at halftime. Washington was up 21-17 at the end of the third quarter, going to early in the fourth quarter. Washington was up 27-24 with 4:52 left in the game, and they have to keep coming back to beat what you would call bad football teams, right? Yeah. Okay? So, again, if you want to talk about jump start, rocket launch, motivation, what my team did yesterday against a team that you readily acknowledged was on a roll, was hot, a really good team, a team much better than the Giants or the Redskins. My team is roaring toward Philadelphia with more momentum to me than the Eagles gained from winning those two games. They did win, and I give them that. And I think Carson Wentz is getting some of his confidence back. But overall, team to team, my team is better. So right now, the early wagers are saying my team is better.
But Skip, I'm looking at you. Just look at this, Skip. They had 27 first down to Washington, to Washington's 19. Skip, they had more time of possession than your Cowboys had against the Rams.
They did.
And the Cowboys had the ball basically the entire game. And you look at this, they were 11 of 16 on third down.
They were one more minute, 37-23.
Skip, and they had 11 of 16 on third down.
Pretty good.
And it went down to the,
went to the end.
Right. And now we're going to look at the score, Skip. I mean, Haskins tried to throw the ball away and somebody get a scoop.
Scoop and scoop.
Right. But it wasn't that. That just lets you know just how, I mean, if I were to put if someone has told you, this team is 11 of 16 on third down, and they possessed the ball for 37 minutes. You're like, oh, they got 40 plus, easy. They blew that team out. Skip, it came down to the last drive for the Eagles, and you throwing it to a guy. I guarantee you, yes, Boston Scott is playing well. Greg Ward Jr. is playing well. But if you'd asked Dougie P at the beginning of the season what contributions you think you're going to get these guys, well, we hope they're great practice squad show team guys for it. Not contributing heavy minutes. Not we're going to be counting on those guys because you thought that was going to be Alshon. You thought that was going to be D-Jack.
That's true.
And this is what you got right now. So, Skip, I am not surprised in the least that the Cowboys. I'm going to be shocked if it doesn't move to 3.5 or 4 by the end of the week.
Okay. And my final point about your quarterback, Carson Wentz, is he fumbled 3 more times yesterday, and they were fortunate. They recovered 2 of them. They lost 1, but he fumbled 3 more times. One thing my quarterback has done that you got to give him credit for this year, he used to be fumble struck last year. He used to be a sack fumble waiting to happen. Dak Prescott was last year.
Right.
He's fumbled 1 time this year, so he has cleaned up his act. Carson Wentz has not cleaned up his act.
Carson does not understand, Skip, that when you're in the pocket, when you put that ball like this here, them guys coming to get it.
Well, listen, I got 3 guys who are coming to get it.
If you look at Brady, the one thing I will credit Brady for, you might get the ball, but it's always this.
2 hands.
It's always that. But you look at Wentz, how he has the ball. What do you think those guys are going to do? They're going to get it.
Trying to throw a home run is what he's trying to do.
Well, it's hard to throw a home run when you don't have the ball in your hand.
that is true.
They will attack that. Guys, Skip, it used to be, okay, we want to just get the guy on the ground. Now that's not enough. Now the objective is to get the ball out of it. Because guess what, Skip? If I knock the ball out of your hand, not only do I get a sack anyway, I get a forced fumble. So I kill 2 birds with 1 stone. They're attacking the football now. And Carson Wentz is going to have to do a better job of that because, like you said, the Cowboys are trying to take the ball away. They don't do it. They don't do it a lot. But normally what we're starting to see with them is that when they do it, it comes in bunches. They don't just get 1. They get 1, 2, 3. So he has to be very, very careful because he's already undermanned.
Against Chicago, then yesterday against the Rams, finally, my defense started getting its hands on the football.
That was a heck of a play by Sean Lee. That was a heck of a play. I don't know if the Wolf Hunter would have made that play. He might have, Skip, but Sean Lee, that's a tight. He caught the ball like the ball was intended for him.
He did. And he played very well. He's beat up, and he didn't practice all week, and he's got like 3 different injuries.
Yeah.
But he played, and he played his tail off.
He played his tail off.
And he inspires the defense the way Dak inspires the offense. So all of a sudden, my defense is starting to contagiously get their hands on the football at just the right time. So it sounds to me like my partner across the table is angling toward picking the Cowboys and trying to jinx my Cowboys.
Skip, ain't nobody trying to Skip.
Sounds like you're just saying no mas.
Skip, the day is Monday.
Yeah.
We got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
We
got 4 days.
You're not impressed with your Eagles. Like you're oh ye of little faith about the Eagles.
Skip.
You do have on kind of greenish. Is that green?
First of all,
Is that why we're
Skip,
wearing green?
they lost to the Dolphins,
Yeah.
who got 40 hung on them by the Giants.
By Eli.
Yeah, exactly.
Go,
Skip,
Eli.
Skip, they hung 40 on them, and Eli threw 3 picks.
I mean,
How you give up 40?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Thank
I
you.
did not watch that game.
Thank
I
you.
don't know.
Thank you.
Good for Eli. I guess that was his swan song.
he got the game ball as well.
Oh.
Cheering him on.
So you know what that means. Skip Bayless, you know when there's 2 games left and teams start handing you out game ball, you know that means you're not coming back,
That's
right?
it.
You know that it's like, they start, you at the job and they start giving you a pencil set or a pen set.
It was like a gold watch of a football. It was. It was a gold
You know
watch.
what it is.
A parting gift.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Way to go,
that's
Eli.
what it
Thank you
was.
for all you did. Well,
Been
good
watch
for
that
you.
game.
So you're picking Dallas early. in the week.
No. I'm not picking anything, Skip. Let's just.
It's okay. You
Too
can pick
soon.
whoever you
Hold
want.
up, hold up.
We have all
Can we get like Tuesday, Wednesday? I mean, don't you want build up? Don't you want a tease?
It's only Monday.
It's
so
building.
Let's
It's
let it
coming.
build.
I mean, my restaurant was closed yesterday to win. You saw that wind out there?
know. I figured.
Blew my
Too much
power out.
wind?
Yeah,
Really?
too much blew my power out.
Do it.
So
Do
I was
it.
I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but
So the Rams were delayed getting back because there was wind issues.
no.
Warnings, right?
But
Yeah.
I'm up and operational this morning. The world famous L will be back in effect
Really?
next week. Yeah.
Okay.
I expect to see a couple of Cowboys drop it in there.
We
Okay,
got
good.
more Cowboys news to get to. Did they receive special treatment yesterday? This is interesting. We'll discuss next.